Okay, YouTube says I'm live and I'm going to take its word for it. So, hey y'all, happy Sunday. I definitely got to about like 5:30 today and I had no idea what day or time it was, so that was cool. I hope everyone had a good weekend. If weekends still exist, how's that going? We got some time off. I didn't do much, shockingly. Got the window open. I'm hoping it's not going to cause too much ambient noise, but it's really kind of warm in the apartment right now, so keeping the window open. If you haven't seen, I did actually get a schedule going. I'm going to keep to this Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday schedule, which seems pretty doable. And the current plan is Sundays, like tonight, and Thursdays will be for longer fix and or series, and I'm going to do one-shots on Tuesdays. So as you can see from the graphic, hopefully, we're going to be starting in on the Disney Channel universe tonight. The first part is going to take 3 nights to read. I've divided up into 3 sort of even parts. Should be cool, I guess. And then I think all the other parts should just be 1 night each because they're shorter. And on Thursdays, we'll be keeping going with the Mutual series, which isn't as long generally, and I think just goes through the end of April, and then I'll have to figure out what to do next. I also have a Google Sheet where you can request things if you're into that. I think all that should be linked from the About on my YouTube channel. I am not real familiar with YouTube as a platform, and I've only just started watching things on YouTube. I'm very behind the zeitgeist on this. Did I already talk about this? My brain is going, y'all. We're all very out of it right now, right? Everyone gets it. Speaking of being out of it and not understanding YouTube, I did see after I ended my stream last time that I got a few chat things that I did not notice, for which I apologize. I do now have it set up so I can see the live chat, in theory, although, in about 5 minutes I will be looking at my phone all the time and reading, so I will not be paying any attention to that, but I have theoretical awareness of it now, so that is a step up. Yeah. Still playing Animal Crossing, still trying to drive Rodney away from my island, where he does not belong. He was sick, and I was trying to not give him medicine, but that just meant he didn't come out of his house, so I couldn't hit him with the net to try to drive him away, so I had to give him medicine and make him better so that he would come out, and now I can hit him again. I'm not really sure if this is the correct way to get him to leave. I should probably Google this, but it's fun, so I'm going to keep doing it. Got to get 2 different kinds of armor today in the game, so that was exciting. I got a Viking shirt and samurai armor, both in 2 different colors because I have like almost no clothes in real life. Like, it is shocking how few clothes I own, but in Animal Crossing I have more outfits than I could ever wear. But when I go to visit Steve, I like to get super dressed up. I wore my Viking armor and some very short, very stripy shorts and some neon pink rain boots and a horrifically ugly Easter bonnet. And what were the glasses? I had some good glasses. Oh, I had so many. I have so many glasses. I don't even know which ones it was, but and obviously a surgical mask because we've got to be careful about social distancing even in Animal Crossing. That's important. Yeah, I'm sort of trying to start these at 7:55 so that there's some talking from me, but I don't have to talk too much because clearly I'm not good at it. But also I try not to start until a little after 8 to give people a chance to come in if they want to come in. Yeah. I am very sleepy, so that will be a fun energy that I'm bringing to this. And I'm playing Hearthstone a little again. They've got a new mode, I'm into that. My dad's super into it. He's been real good at Hearthstone lately. It's actually kind of disconcerting because he's not traditionally good at Hearthstone because he has this issue where, or maybe he had, I think he's getting better at it, but he didn't like to read any of the cards really. He just would ask me to give him a deck and then he would play that deck, and then if he lost in a particularly upsetting way, he'd call me and explain what happened and ask me to tell him, like, to sort of break it down for him based on his recollection or interpretation of what the opponent had done, although he didn't know anything about them or their cards, so I sort of had to guess what card had killed him. Now he just calls me to tell me that he's doing really well, so that's nice for him. I'm very excited. And he's sad because, he's excelling at Hearthstone, and I'm like, all I do is play Animal Crossing now, so I'm gonna try to get that back in balance so that I can celebrate my father's success at Hearthstone. Yeah, that's a family dynamic that exists. The cat has come up. Do you think we should start saying Nike? She doesn't have a strong opinion. What she really wants is for me to give her treats because she gets treats at 8, and me doing this sets back how long it is before she gets treats, but you just have to learn to be patient, Nike. Have you considered this? Have you considered that treats will come later? She is not. She is not a patient cat. Okay, I think this first part I've got runs at about 6,000 words, so gonna expect it to be about 40 minutes again, and hopefully I will read it coherently. We're gonna get started on, let me just find it on my phone, The Way That Light Attaches to a Girl, which is, again, the first part of the Disney Channel universe. Of course, it's Octavia's idea. Come on, Belle, it can be my birthday present, if you want. Bellamy raises his eyebrows at her. Seriously? You're gonna give up a real birthday present for what? Me making an idiot of myself? It's an open casting call and you're a good actor. I was in 2 school plays. And you were good. I'm pretty sure open casting calls are just publicity stunts, so there's no way they're actually gonna cast some random guy for whatever this is. Especially not me. The 10 best people from the open call get to do a scene with Clark Griffin. Which one's she? He asks, even though he knows. He just likes pissing Octavia off. Truth be told, Clark Griffin is probably his favorite of the Disney Channel stars. Not that that's saying much. The only reason he has favorite Disney Channel stars is that he spends way too much time looking after his little sister. But Clark always seems pretty cool in the dumb behind-the-scenes stuff they make them do. Chill and funny, not too full of herself, and she's a decent actress, no over-the-top histrionics or mugging for the camera. Plus, she's fairly hot, so yeah, if he's gonna try out to be in a stupid Disney show, he'd rather it was hers. But he still thinks the whole idea is stupid. She was the little sister in that show about the guy in the band, and she's been in a couple movies. You said she wasn't even that annoying. Doesn't sound like me. Belle. He heaves an overdramatic sigh, which is definitely the kind of awesome acting skill the Disney Channel is looking for. You really want me to do this? I really, really do. Okay, fine. But don't get your hopes up, okay? Like I said, I'm pretty sure open casting calls are a scam. He pauses. And I'm seriously not getting you a birthday present. You're not getting out of that. Will you get me one if you get cast? He snorts. Yeah, fine. If I miraculously get picked for this stupid show, I will get you another birthday present. Otherwise, you're out of luck. He's honestly not that surprised he makes the top 10. He's decently attractive, knows how to emote, and is within the 15 to 18 age range they ask for, and given what he sees of the competition, he'll be surprised if they get 10 guys who are all 3 of those. Octavia gets to come with him to meet Clark Griffin, so he's definitely not getting her a birthday present. Clark is a little taller than he expected, with perfect waves of blonde hair and a weary expression that she covers with a smile when she sees them. Octavia is hiding behind Bellamy because she has apparently decided to experience shyness for the first time in her life. Don't look cheerful on our account, he says, sitting down next to Clark before she can stand to greet them. I'm what, the 8th guy? You must be exhausted. Hell, I'm exhausted, and all I had to do was read 10 lines and get up early to catch the bus. She laughs, surprised. You guys took the bus? Our mom works a lot. I think she planned this, he adds, jerking his head at Octavia. They had to let her come in with me because she didn't have another adult around. You just gonna lurko? It's creepy. Octavia shuffles over, sitting down on the floor by Bellamy's feet. She's a big fan, he adds. This was her idea. Clark smiles, and it looks more genuine. It's nice to meet you, she says, mostly to O. I'm Clark. Octavia is still starstruck, so Bellamy takes over. Again. I'm Bellamy. This is my sister, Octavia. We need to do stuff, right? A scene to read? I'm sure you've got a really tight schedule. They give us a few minutes mostly alone for, she waves her hand. Chit-chat, fan stuff, whatever, so you don't feel like you got no Clark Griffin time. Bellamy snorts. Jesus, no wonder you're tired. She laughs again. You know, Disney Channel stars aren't allowed to say stuff like hell and Jesus in public. Good thing this isn't public and I'm not a Disney Channel star. That sounds like it would suck. Hey, you could be. You are in our top 10. He regards her, measuring her up. He's not really expecting honesty, but he's curious what she'll say, so he asks, are they really going to use one of us for this part, or are they just giving a bunch of random people a shot and it'll go to that dude with the floppy hair from the movie about the magic cat? It was a robot cat and his name is Finn Collins, Octavia bursts out. He totally knows that. He's just being a dick, she adds to Clark. Can't say dick, the Disney police are going to get you, Bellamy tells her. Clark is laughing again. She's really cute and she looks like she's relaxing, which makes Bellamy pretty proud. Finn is actually already in the show, she says. And they're not required to cast from this? No. But they might. I'm not holding my breath, he says. Octavia seems to have gotten over her shyness. He's really good. Yeah, he is, Clark says, surprising him. She shoots him a smirk. What? I was watching the auditions. Creepy. It's my show. I get to decide who I want on it. Bellamy feels his cheeks heat up, just a little. He's not one of those people who really cares about celebrities, but it's kind of flattering that she thought he did a good job. So, how were the first 7? Clark considers and then says, carefully diplomatic, I don't think any of them are what I'm looking for. The producers come in before he can respond, and Clark gets Octavia settled into the seat she vacated with juice, while Bellamy is introduced and photographed and signed some shit. They're clearly annoyed that his mother isn't with him, since he's only 16 and not able to give legal consent to anything himself, and he gets even more forms to take home for her to sign and send back. He's been forging his mother's signature on every official document he's gotten since he was about 9, but he'll pretend she's going to do it herself, if it'll make them feel better. The scene is a lot better than the monologue he had to read for the first round, which was some motivational stuff about being yourself and not worrying about popularity. He didn't even disagree with it in principle, but it was not anything any 16-year-old guy he knows would ever say. The scene makes him more optimistic that he will not want to die every time Octavia watches the stupid show, which of course she will because the Disney Channel is basically her religion. He cannot wait for her to hit puberty. She'll be a nightmare to deal with, but at least she'll probably start watching the CW or something. He is auditioning to be Clark's childhood best friend, so he assumes he's also secretly in love with her, because he has never seen anything on the Disney Channel involving different gender childhood best friends that does not involve one of them secretly being in love with the other. And Clark is the star, so she's probably the one with an alternate love interest. Probably Finn Collins, in fact. Why does he already know the plot of this fucking show? It doesn't have a name yet. It's still Untitled Clark Griffin Project. Their plot is basic and fairly derivative. Clark is the princess of some made-up country, and she's keeping a secret so she can have a normal high school experience. She's dodging some determined wannabe journalist from the school newspaper who thinks she has a secret. Honestly, it's basically the Princess Diaries meets Hannah Montana, and if Clark wasn't so cute, it would not work at all. But there's an earnestness to her as she talks to him, an honesty that gets a lump in his throat. As her best friend, the unnamed character Bellamy is reading is the only person outside of her family privy to Clark's secret, the only one she can talk to about her worries. And having more information recontextualizes his stupid monologue into, don't worry you're not popular now because you're amazing and you're going to be a good ruler because of you, not because of your title. The scene is probably the final one in the first episode script, and he's telling her he'll always be there for her, cracking a few jokes to make her feel better, and it's weirdly familiar, even though they've never met before. Bellamy's natural tendency is to take care of people, and there's something he likes about Clark, an instinctual fondness that makes him want to look out for her. They nail the scene, if he does say so himself. He thanks the producers, and they tell him they'll be in touch, which he does not believe for a minute, but it's polite of them to say anyway. Clark tags along as he gathers Octavia. Thanks for coming out today. Thanks for having us. It was fun. He glances at his sister. If you play your cards right, she might give you an autograph. But don't tell anyone. I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to ask. Octavia turns red. Don't be a jerk. She's busy. She doesn't have time for autographs. That's why you're not supposed to ask. God, Belle, you're so embarrassing. How could I? He says with a wry smile at Clark. Good luck with the whole casting thing. Thanks. She looks at Octavia. You're right, I don't really have time to sign stuff. But I can do a hug if you want. Really? She asks, shy again, and Clark leans down to squeeze her quickly. Thanks for bringing your brother. He was really good, she tells Octavia, like a secret, although she's looking at Bellamy. Octavia beams. I told him so. He'd be amazing on the show. We'll definitely keep him in mind. Have a good rest of the day, you two. She shakes Bellamy's hand, and then security ushers them out. He can't help one last glance over his shoulder to where he can see Clark going over to confer with the producers. She looks back at him too, flashes him a thumbs up, and then they're back in the hallway and back to the real world. He sends the paperwork back with his mother's signature, or something that looks close enough to his mother's signature that no one will question it. He made a good faith effort to get it signed. It's not his fault his mom ignored the giant "please sign" note he left on the counter for 2 days. He even mentioned it to her during one of the rare times they were both in the apartment and awake at the same time. But she never did it, and they might want to use the footage of him for a promo or something, which would be cool, so he does it himself and sends it back. He gets the call 2 weeks later while he's making dinner for himself and Octavia. The voice is firm and official, vaguely familiar. Is Bellamy Blake available? This is Bellamy. This is Marcus Kane. I'm the showrunner for Princess Proper. We met a few weeks ago. Oh, cool, you guys got a title. Bellamy says, absent, giving his chicken a prod. He's never very confident about cooking chicken, but Octavia is going through a phase where it's all she wants to eat, and at least it has nutritional value. Was there a problem with my paperwork? I thought I sent everything. Kane lets out a strange huff of laughter. No, everything's in order. I'm calling to offer you the part. Bellamy drops the phone, and then recovers it before Kane notices. Hopefully. Sorry, what? We'd like you to be on the show. Your audition really impressed everyone, and Clark was very insistent. Oh, he says blankly. Thanks? I know this must be a shock, and you'll need to talk to your mother about logistics. I sent some more information and initial paperwork for you to review. It should arrive tomorrow. If you decide you're interested, we'd like to get everything moving as quickly as possible. Do you think you'd be able to get back to me within a week? I babysit my sister after school, he blurts out. Is that something you guys could work around? Kane chuckles again. I'm sure we can figure something out. Can you get back to me in the week, or do you need more time? He lets out a long breath. No, that's fine. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks. I hope we'll be seeing more of each other, Bellamy, he says. And that's how Bellamy ends up on the goddamn Disney Channel. It probably shouldn't be a surprise that they have the whole thing down to an art. Within 48 hours of Bellamy faxing back the initial paperwork, he's got a metric ton of shit to look at, from contracts to salary to information about tutors and on-set childcare. It's almost enough to make him change his mind, just so he doesn't have to deal with it. He's trying to sort through the contract, which he's pretty sure was written in as confusing a manner as possible, when his phone rings. He's gotten more calls in the last 2 days than the rest of his life put together, he's pretty sure. Hello? Hi, Bellamy. Yeah, this is Bellamy. Hey, it's Clark. Griffin, she adds, like he knows so many Clarks he couldn't keep them all straight. Oh, hi, he says, standing and smoothing down his shirt, even though she's on the phone and there's no possible way for her to know he's sitting on the floor in his pajamas being totally overwhelmed. What's up? I'd say I wanted to say hi and congratulate you, but honestly I was kind of worried. Worried? You don't have an agent, right? So you've got a giant pile of papers and no idea what any of them are, or if you're getting a fair salary and perks or anything? Bellamy looks down at the mess of paper on the floor. Yeah, basically, he admits. So, can I help? My agent's pretty cool, and I've been doing this for a while, so if you want, we can get lunch and look over your stuff. I know it's a total nightmare. Fuck yes, he says, letting out a huge, tense breath he didn't know he was holding. I mean, something Disney Channel appropriate. Clark laughs, something bright and musical. Is your sister around? Does she want to come? We can come get you guys. She's hanging out with a friend. It's fine as long as I'm home by like 5. He worries his lip and then says, They said, Kane told me you were really insistent about hiring me. Well, you were my favorite, she says, like it's no big deal. What's your address? Bellamy looks around the apartment, trying not to wince. He's poor. He knows he's poor. He didn't even think about telling them they weren't offering enough money. They're offering an unreal amount of money to him. Enough his mom could probably go down to just her job at the call center. I can meet you, he says. There's a pause, the kind that makes him think she knows exactly what he's worrying about. But all she says is, I'll text you the restaurant information, and just call me back if it's going to be a pain to get there. We can always meet you on the way or something. He lets out a breath. Okay, great. Thanks, Clark. What are BFFs for? She asks, amused. See you soon, Bellamy. Bellamy puts on his nicest clothes, which are still pretty sad, just a fairly unrumpled button down and a pair of khakis from Goodwill, but he at least doesn't look like a total bum. He puts a token effort into smoothing his hair down, but gives it up as a lost cause, and instead gets all his paperwork neatly into a folder and stuffs a tie into his bag, just in case. The restaurant website was pretty fancy. He doesn't want to make Clark look bad. He texts her his ETA just to be polite, and then he texts Octavia, I'm going out. LMK if you're coming home early or anything. He's heard if he was really poor, he and his sister wouldn't have cell phones, and he hates every single person who has ever said that. Clark texts back, see you soon, followed by a box that indicates too soon he's seen an emoji, and he takes a second to just kind of stare. He's getting text messages from Clark Griffin. She's not that famous, but a lot of kids at school probably know her face, if not her name. It's pretty surreal. The restaurant is way worse, though. No one's wearing a tie, but he still feels like he sticks out like a sore thumb, like everyone can tell this is not his kind of place. He's been to a restaurant with actual tablecloths exactly once in his life. This is way too much to deal with. And then Clark appears at his elbow and says, Hi, we're over here. He stares at her for a second, not quite recovered from the restaurant. Then he wets his lips and says, Sorry? She takes his arm, gentle. We've got a table. Don't worry, it's private. Oh, he says, trying not to come off as a total lunatic. He lets her tug into the back. Thanks for calling, he says. I was about to Google contract law, and I don't think it would have done much good. Yeah, I bet. I was too young to do much with my first contract, but I remember reading it over my dad's shoulder, and I've never felt stupider, I swear. And I didn't want that to scare you off. I thought about it, he admits, but Octavia never would have forgiven me. I might not have either, Clark says, and lets his arm go when they reach a secluded booth. There's an Asian woman glaring at her smartphone already on one side of the table, so Bellamy slides in next to Clark, feeling awkward. This is my agent, Anya. You're probably going to want to get an agent of your own at some point, but she's going to help us out today pro bono. She was an actress when she was a kid and got some pretty raw deals, so she likes to help. Anya, this is Bellamy. Anya's eyes barely flick up from her phone, but she gives him a curt nod. Bellamy, she says, do you have your contracts? The first half of lunch is all business. The contract is fine, but Anya seems vaguely horrified by various parts of his compensation package and wanders off to call Kane and yell at him about it, leaving Clark and Bellamy alone. What's the problem exactly? He asks her. Clark shrugs. They can afford to give you more. Like I said, Anya doesn't like people getting taken advantage of. And you're getting third billing. That's a pretty big deal. I would have been fine with it, he admits. Don't worry, they're not going to give you less because you argued or anything. I'm pretty sure Kane knew it was coming. You should have seen his face when I asked for your number so me and Anya could help you with the paperwork. So he was trying to lowball me and just figured I wouldn't notice? He's a businessman, Clark says, shrugging. I was lucky. My mom's an agent. That's how I got into the whole acting thing. She got me good deals early. Bellamy frowns. Your mom's an agent, but not your agent. She shrugs, takes a sip of her lemonade. It got kind of weird. Not. She's my mom. Obviously, she always wants what's best for me. But it was making us fight and bleeding into our relationship, so we'd agreed it would be better if there was a work family divide, and she referred me to Anya. And that definitely works better for us. Cool, he says, nodding. And then, because he can't help it, why me? She grins. Because you're the only person I read with I could actually imagine being my best friend. Bellamy ducks his head, hoping she won't see his blush. Oh, he says, and it feels inadequate, but Clark is smiling at him, so yeah, he's doing fine. It's not an exaggeration to say Princess Proper changes Bellamy's entire life. They start filming in early July, and the first week is only not a disaster because Clark's been prepping him pretty much nonstop. He's been spending a lot of time. He's been spending a lot of time with Clark, actually. He thinks she considers him her responsibility, since it was her idea to hire him, and it's honestly kind of adorable. She's a year younger than he is, but she frets about him like he frets over Octavia. Of course, she's been in the business for a lot longer than he has, but it's still really cute. She's really cute, which he mostly tries to ignore. They're coworkers now, right? And they're becoming friends. It's totally unprofessional to want to make out with her. And she really is a godsend. She's an old hand at all this stuff, so she puts a lot of time and effort into getting him ready for everything that's going to happen, how long they'll be shooting, what the schedule will look like, what Octavia will do if she comes to set. It's still totally overwhelming, but not like it would be if he didn't have Clark on his side. And it's kind of fun. The show is ridiculous. It's a Disney show about secret princess. It's a Disney show about a secret princess. Of course it's ridiculous. There's a lot of unfortunate slapstick comedy, mostly centered around Tristan and Alex, a couple Disney Channel regulars, Monty Green and Jasper Jordan, the school newspaper guys who are overly invested in figuring out what Penny, Clark, is hiding, and Clark's little brother, Alan, some kid named Miles, also in his first Disney Channel role, always has a really annoying subplot where he's trying to pull off some stupid scheme no one cares about, but there's something solid at the core. He'd say it's Clark, but he knows it's not just Clark. They're a good team, the two of them. Penny tends towards being optimistic and a little naive, always seeing the best in people and working her hardest. As Ian, Bellamy gets to be a little more cynical, and he's the show's main source of sarcastic asides and eye rolls, which works just fine for him. But there's something that feels honest in his and Clark's scenes, kind of genuine support and friendship that everyone remarks on. She was right about you, Kane tells him at the end of the first week of filming, and Bellamy doesn't particularly like the guy, but it still makes him glow a little. Because it's Clark. They're also doing an actual special feature on him, which is more than a little weird. But they'd publicized the open auditions, so now they want credit for following through and actually casting him. It mostly means there's a guy with a handheld camera following him around for the first month, getting candid statements about how it's going, about half of which they make him redo because they ask him questions at 6:30, and then have to tell him to try again without the profanity. There's a lot of Clark giggling in the background of those. And then, without any warning, it's just his life. His first paycheck went towards a new apartment that's close to the studio and in a way better school district, so he doesn't have to wake up quite as early. Clark's is on the way, so they just use the same car, which mostly means they both sit in the back seat, half awake, grunting at each other. It's probably sad how much he enjoys the ride in, given they're not even fully conscious, but it's companionable, and sometimes Clark slumps onto his shoulder. They're bound by various child labor laws, so the days are long but not grueling. Filming is interspersed with on-site tutoring. The tutors are awful, but he's usually on a pretty similar schedule to Clark, so they make faces at each other while the instructors drone, and he reads during his own time to make sure he can pass whichever tests they come up with. He's also technically on broadly the same schedule as Finn, but he hasn't managed to bond with Finn. He tells himself it's for purely show reasons. Finn's character is pretty poorly defined, not going too far beyond popular dude love interest, and the scenes he has with Clark's character tend to serve her poorly because she's reduced to a stammering mess, which is way less fun than her usual burgeoning self-confidence. But he knows the real reason is that Finn and Clark are dating. It's not real, Clark explains a few weeks into filming, with a roll of her eyes. He has an actual girlfriend. But, we appear at stuff together, people think it's cute, so the network encourages it. Pictures of us together, promos, they're hyping our characters' relationship on the previews a lot. Hopefully you and me will be more popular and they'll switch over to us instead, but he is my nominal love interest. What did you get for 5? B, he says. He wets his lips. Doesn't it creep you out that they encourage you to pretend to date people? I don't really do much, she says, shrugging. I mean, we're hanging out at premieres and event shows anyway. All I really have to do is give vague answers about my love life and make sure people get photographs of us together. She toys with one of the rings she's wearing. I guess it's a little weird, but I've been doing it for so long, I don't even think about it. It's pretty harmless, and kids like it. Real-life romance makes it better for them. She looks kind of bummed, so Bellamy puts his arm around her, silent support. Over the past few months, he's learned that while Clark loves her job, she knows how fucked up a lot of things about it are, especially the network-mandated shit. I don't think about a lot of it, she says, leaning her head against his shoulder. It's just my life, People have been asking me who my celebrity crushes are live on camera since I was 10. Yeah, your life is fucking weird. She pokes him. Just wait until the show starts airing. You're gonna be a total heartthrob. Yeah? She tugs his hair, gentle and affectionate. I'll totally put your picture up in my locker. He snorts. You are my biggest fan. Yep, she agrees. She taps her book. Okay, let's review. No way I'm failing this. I don't want a lecture from this stupid tutor. If she was a better teacher, I wouldn't be learning everything on my own. Bellamy laughs and squeezes her shoulder, expecting her to pull back, but she just settles in closer, and he's not going to object. Even with Finn, it's a pretty great setup. It turns out she's right about his popularity. The network starts airing his behind-the-scenes thing in 30-second chunks on commercial breaks, getting their viewers hyped up for a new show with teasers of an average guy like them getting his first taste of fame and fortune. Clark gleefully pulls them up on YouTube, and they watch them in the car going home. They're not bad, if he does say so himself. He's kind of wryly amused most of the time, and Clark will occasionally jump on his back to offer her own insights, which the people in the comments section are apparently very excited about. They're totally gonna let me fake date you instead, she says, proud, and Bellamy's glad it's dark enough she won't see his blush. He's recognized for the first time the day before the show premieres, when he and Octavia are grocery shopping. A couple girls, probably 11 or 12, just a little older than Octavia, approach hesitantly and ask if he's Bellamy Blake, in slightly odd tones. Yeah, he says. Hi. The girls kind of giggle, and he wants to sink into the floor. The brunette says, We're really looking forward to your new show. Thanks. It's pretty cool. I hope you guys like it. Are you really friends with Clark Griffin? Yeah, Clark's the best. Do you guys, hang out? She's the one who picked you to be her co-star, right? Yeah, sometimes, he says. She's actually going to come over and watch the premiere tomorrow, he adds without thinking. They're planning to make fun of themselves pretty relentlessly and drive Octavia crazy while she's trying to pay attention. The girls giggle again. What about Finn? Asks the black-haired one, and then claps her hand over her mouth. Oh, he flails a bit. He's probably supposed to act like they're dating? He's got plans. Isn't he jealous? Asks the brunette, pointed. No, we're just friends, he says quickly. Me and Clark. And me and Finn. We're all friends. They ask for his autograph, and he makes a mental note to thank Clark for making him practice it, because his previous autograph was basically just a B followed by a vague scribble, and the one the two of them came up with together is a lot cooler. He texts her as much, and she replies, OMG, do you have fans already? I knew it, you're so dreamy. If you want people to think you're not into Clark, you need to stop smiling like that, Octavia remarks. Shut up. It's not really a big deal, the whole being into Clark thing. She's funny and pretty, and he spends 75% of his waking hours with her, so it's just kind of normal. Anyone who spends as much time with Clark as he does would be into her. He assumes all the other actors in their age range are too. Why wouldn't they be? It's fine. So tell me more about your fan encounter, she says. She's stretched out on his couch with her feet in his lap, and Octavia's sitting in a chair to the side. His mom isn't home because his mom is never home, and Clark has stopped asking about it. At least he isn't embarrassed to have her in his place anymore. He's got it looking pretty decent these days. Did they giggle? He groans and drops his head against the back of the couch. God, so much. Clark pats his shoulder. What else? I kind of flailed around if you and Finn were dating. You're gonna do so well with public appearances. I know, it's gonna be so fucking bad. Language. It's gonna be so Disney Channel bad, he corrects. I'm not sure replacing profanity with Disney Channel is really gonna work. Disney Channel you. Oh yeah, never mind, that's perfect. Keep doing that. He grins at her and she grins back, and Octavia rolls her eyes. Will you guys shut up? Some of us haven't seen this before and want to watch. Spoilers, Clark's character is dead the whole time, and I'm the only one who can see her, Bellamy says, grinning, and Octavia throws a pillow at him. The show's a hit, which no one at the network seems particularly surprised about. They wouldn't have bankrolled a Clark Griffin vehicle if they didn't think it was going to be a hit. But Bellamy is as popular as she is, apparently, which none of them seem particularly prepared for. Aside from Clark, who's as smug about it as Bellamy's ever seen her. She really is his biggest fan. They start reworking the second half of the season to take advantage of the fact that people actually like him, which is kind of a mixed blessing. It's cool to have more of his own plots to do, but he misses when basically all of his scenes were with Clark. He liked all of his scenes being with Clark. In October, Octavia turns 11, and Bellamy decides he should probably get her a birthday present. He recruits Clark to come with him and goes to get her a cat. This is the cutest thing I've ever seen, Clark says, gleeful. You're buying your sister a kitten. She's always wanted a pet, he grumbles. Our old apartment wouldn't let us have one, and we can afford it now. She sobers a little. Am I allowed to ask about that? Ask about what? He asks, letting one of the kittens bat his fingers. They're a motley assortment, and he has no idea how to pick one. He maybe should have brought Octavia instead of surprising her. Money. I know you don't like talking about it, but you're doing okay, right? You'd tell me if you weren't? He concentrates on the kitten and tries to ignore the slight prickling of his eyes. She sounds so... not worried, not exactly. Not patronizing. Caring. Sometimes he wishes he knew what he did to make Clark Griffin like him so much, just so he could make sure to never stop doing it. We're good, yeah, he says. My mom isn't around because she doesn't want to be, not because she can't be. Which I kind of saw coming, but we have enough to eat and me and O are set, so I don't really care. So she's not stealing your earnings or anything? He has to smile. No, she's not. I gave her an allowance and she's sticking to it. She rests her forehead against his back. Is it okay if I hate your mom? I know I've never met her, but... Yeah, it's okay. He leans back to press his cheek against her head, a brief acknowledgement of the comfort she's offering. Come on, help me play with this giant pile of kittens. We have to find the best one. You know, this kitten is going to be alone a lot, Clark points out, scooting over to peer over the box with him. So I should probably get her a kitten for her birthday, too, so it'll have company and won't get lonely. Bellamy snorts. You know she already likes you better than me, right? You don't have to work on that. I like this one, Clark says, picking up a tabby, and Bellamy just gives up and admits that they will be getting 2 kittens. Octavia's party was yesterday, and Clark wasn't invited on the grounds that having Clark Griffin show up to Bellamy Blake's baby sister's birthday party would probably be a little much, given the party was absolutely packed with their target demographic, and Clark is still, not officially but very strongly hinted to be dating Finn. Even though, according to Octavia, everyone knows she likes Bellamy better. It was definitely the right call, given how much attention Bellamy himself was getting, but he still would have liked to have had some backup. But it was for the best. Clark follows him home for dinner, both so she can get the celebration she missed out on yesterday, and so she can watch Octavia get the kittens. And it's nice, really, just kind of a lot. Bellamy's never had a lot of friends, mostly because he was 5 when his sister was born, almost 6, and it became pretty clear pretty quickly that he was going to have to do a lot of the work of taking care of her. It didn't leave him with time for much of a social life outside of school. No team sports or clubs, no sleepovers. And now there's Clark, bright and warm, like the fucking sun. It feels like his entire life has rearranged itself around her, and he thought he'd feel bad about that, but she loves Octavia too, makes sure she's taken care of just like he does, has dinner with them and plays with the kittens, and it's just, he doesn't quite know how to exist, really. He might have slightly more than just a thing for Clark. His own birthday is a month after Octavia's, in November, and he spends most of the day when he's not at work teasing Clark about how young she is, since she's 15 for 6 more days, the only period of time in the year where he's officially 2 years older than she is. "You're a Disney Channel," she tells him, affectionate, and then she pecks him on the cheek. "Happy birthday, Belle." He's flabbergasted enough to stop teasing her for almost a full 5 minutes. Almost. Octavia gets him a framed copy of the first positive review the show got, which is oddly affecting. Clark gets him a cane while she's on break. "If you're going to be a Disney Channel about how young I am, I'm going to be a Disney Channel about how old you are," she says brightly. "All this is really telling me is that you forgot it was my birthday and didn't get me anything," he teases. She actually blushes at that, which is kind of alarming. Clark is rarely embarrassed. "Did Octavia give you hers yet?" "Yeah, this morning." "Mine was, she gave me the idea, but it's stupid." He bumps his shoulder against hers. "I bet it's not." "No, it's..." She goes into her bag and pulls a piece of paper out. "It really is stupid," she says, but hands it over. The top says "Open Casting Number 8, and someone has written Bellamy Blake on the line that follows it. And there's a blank portion at the top, presumably where she blocked something else out, but the bottom half has the heading Clark, followed by a paragraph in her handwriting. Definitely my favorite, no contest. Did admirably well with the monologue, which was really not good, and very comfortable with me, laid back and fun. Only one of them I would actually want to hang out with, for the record. Great and seen together, felt totally natural, excellent chemistry. Is it weird to say that about myself? If Marcus is serious about this relationship being the heart of the show, Bellamy is absolutely the one we want. My top choice, including the pros. Hire him. "It's weird, right?" she asks, soft, when he doesn't respond. "I just thought you might like it. To, I don't know, see what I said." He puts the paper down, careful, and then wraps her up in his arms. She laughs a little, relaxing against him. "So it's okay," she says. He presses his lips against her hair. "Not quite as cool as the cane," he says, voice gruff. "But not bad." He lets her go. "You blocked out what Kane said?" "It was like 95% positive, and then he ruined it by saying you were probably a little too ethnic." He's used to Kane by now, so he just snorts. "If you have a copy of the argument you guys had about that, that's what I want for Christmas." Clark laughs. "Sadly, it was in person, and I don't think there's a transcript." I threw my shoe at him. "Why your shoe?" "Nothing else to throw." Bellamy shakes his head. "You're actually my favorite person." "I know." Okay, that is the end of the first section that I divided this fic into, so thanks for listening to part 1. We'll be doing part 2 a week from today, so that'll be Sunday the 12th. That's how math works, I think. Of April, 8 p.m. EST again. I will not see you there because that's not how this technology works, but I hope y'all will come listen. Have a good night. Stay safe. Don't go outside.